Hi everybody. We are starting my favorite thing, geometry. But anyway, I'll get past that and just get going. First, we're going to talk about adjacent angles. Adjacent angles are next to each other. So I'm going to write next to here. And I'm going to tell you that adjacent angles are like hotel rooms. They're right next to each other. They share a wall, kind of like apartments or townhomes. Adjacent means right next to. But an adjacent angle, okay, they share a common side and vertex. And we'll talk about those here in a second. So, for example, we have angle FAR and angle RAC, and they are adjacent. So first let's look at FAR and also RAC. What makes them adjacent is this common vertex and this, oh my goodness, that was terrible. Let me try again. And this common side. That's what makes those two angles adjacent. They are next to one another. Now, I'd like to draw two angles that are not adjacent, just so you will know the difference. So I'm going to draw an angle here, and we're going to call this angle B. How's that? Then I'm going to draw another angle over here, and that is angle R. All right, notice how they have two separate vertexes and they do not share a line. So these over here are definitely adjacent and these over here are not adjacent. All right, these are vertical angles, and vertical angles are across from each other where two lines intersect. They share a common vertex and they are congruent. Okay, so let's go over that together and read it just one more time. Vertical angles are across from each other and they share a common vertex and are congruent. Now, this is asking us to identify two pairs of vertical angles. Label them over here. So I said, okay, we can do that. So let's look. Just by looking, we know that this angle here is exactly the same as that angle there. That means they are vertical. So let's name those angles first. Let's start with angle CA. Let me write that a little bit neater. Whoops. There we go. CAJ. And angle HAD are vertical. They are congruent. They are exactly the same measure. Now I'm going to look over here. This angle and this angle are also vertical. So that means that angle CAH is congruent to angle JAD. Right there. Angle JAD. Okay, so vertical angles are always exactly the same and they are across from one another. Okay, there have to be two lines that intersect and then those vertical angles share this vertex and they are congruent, whether it's this one and this one or this one and that one. All right, let's keep going. Now we're going to talk about complementary angles. Complementary angles have a sum. That means they add up to 90 degrees. they form a corner. So that corner of your desk or that corner of a piece of paper is 90 degrees. So we have an example here that says that angle M, right here, CG, and angle C, or excuse me, GCJ, they are complementary, and this box right here in the corner helps us see that. That square means these two angles, or this angle, if it's only one, is equal to 90 degrees. Now, it wants us to draw a pair of complementary angles that are not adjacent, because these two angles here are adjacent. They share a vertex and they share this side. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to try to estimate a 60-degree angle right there. Okay, and if I add that to, say, a 30-degree angle, that's probably not the right size, but we're going to try it. So let's say this is 30 degrees. Together, they are complementary, and they do equal 90 degrees. Okay, but unlike this first set, they are not adjacent. So you can have complementary angles that are adjacent, and you can have complementary angles that are not adjacent. Something that I forgot to say a minute earlier, so I'm going to have you go back, is that vertical angles are never, ever are vertical angles adjacent. Okay, they are never, ever adjacent. All right, so I'm going to go back. Okay, so we've done complementary. Now let's talk about supplementary angles. Okay, so supplementary angles have a sum of 180 degrees. Okay, they form a straight, and I'll explain why I'm saying straight here. Straight line, and you may say, Ms. Voss, all lines are straight, so you don't have to say the word straight. You are correct, I do not, but supplementary and straight both start with S's, so sometimes that helps. And I'm going to go back again and look at complementary. Complementary starts with a C, and they always make a corner. So that's something that I would take note of there as well. All right? So, example, angle SKH and angle HKD together are supplementary angles. Now I'm going to draw a pair of supplementary angles that are not adjacent, because notice these share a vertex and a side. They are adjacent along with being supplementary. Okay, so now let's come over here and draw a set that's a supplementary but not adjacent. So first I'm going to try my best to draw a big old 140-degree angle. Please don't measure them, because I guarantee you they're not accurate. And how about we add to that a 40-degree angle? Guess what that gives us? It gives us 180 degrees. So they are supplementary, but they are not adjacent. So these are supplementary, but definitely not adjacent. Okay? All right. We are going to be doing so much with angles, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Thank you.